I've seen a lot of talking about my girl.
My girl Rachel!
That part in the trailer.
God, that was an horrific flashback to last year, wasn't it? The Rings of Power, which nobody cared about. And I can't wait to revisit that clip again and re-clip some clips, if you know what I mean.
The following program contains naughty bits. But before each naughty bit comes on the screen, you'll hear this warning sound. Hotter than this. And more exciting than this. Yes, friends, Thames Television brings you the test card.
Hello now and welcome to Trisha on the Road. Me be like the Nicholas Hober going around on my travels and helping people.
But today, ladies and gentlemen, and by the way, some of you have been asking me about the beautiful young lady on my left-hand side, which is my right. Her name is Juliana Morgan. She's famous for being the turnaround hostess. She made me turn around so much in that video, I had a broken neck in 7 places. But the perfect creation of woman right here, ladies and gentlemen. Those milkers I could just feast on for the rest of my entire life. Unfortunately, folks, I cannot be doing that today with the lovely Miss Morgan. Instead, I'm going to take you to the Hunger Games of Songbirds and Ballads, because the reviews, woo, boy, this is interesting. Perry Nemiroff, of course, the top shill critic for the Collider failed website, another rock solid, I should probably say another rock bottom solid addition to the film franchise. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes loses some steam in the last chapter, but the first 2 are phenomenal and the cast is on point. Of course now, folks, what's really interesting, if you just do the Control F on your keyboard, and you can find the bad reviews, with only Rachel Zegler getting 1 mention from Fico Cangiano, one of the best Hunger Game films ever. Coriolanus Snow, a licky bomb bomb down. Rise to Power is a well-executed story or performance from F. Lawrence in this colder, twistier, is there such a word, and more interesting prequel. Rachel Zegler is phenomenal as feisty Lucy Greybeard. I'm going to call her Beard because she needs to have one, and team up with her other activist friend, Sophia Nomvetti from Rings of Power. And together we can have a feature film feature with 2 women with beards. That's the first, isn't it? And as we carry on, AV Offer from the NYC Movie Guru publication says an anemic, meandering, clunky and overlong bore. Viola Davis in her Elton John drag queen makeup is the film's MVP. Yes, the same Miss Davis who complained and moaned last year that when The Woman King came out, nobody was going to watch that film because they'd rather watch Tom Holland as Spider-Man, because I guess he's a white dude and he's got a bigger fan base than Miss Davis.
I have a career that's probably comparable to Meryl Streep, Julianne Moore, Sigourney Weaver. They all came out of Yale. They came out of Juilliard. They came out of NYU. They had the same path as me, and yet I am nowhere near them. Not as far as money, not as far as job opportunities, nowhere close to it.
You thought I was asleep, didn't you? Acting. Good night.
Fred Topel of the United Press International, a perfectly fine Hunger Games movie on Suzanne Collins's prequel novel. It makes up for a lack of familiar characters with provocative themes, or in my case, Agent Provocateur, because that has a lot more appealing things for me to look at. But if I go on over to Metacritic, now remember, Rotten Tomatoes had a score of 67% based on 46 Was it critical reviews? Yep, oh, well done there, Jace. But on here, 53% based on 22 critical reviews. Now, some of these will be rinsed and repeated from the previous page I just looked at. But if you go along here, I'm more interested in the yellow squares, where the scores start to dip down a bit. Davis, Dinklage, Zegler, and the game's thrill. But Coriolanus Snow doesn't quite summon the substance needed to fulfill this long-haul prequel's ambitions. I'm going to mention something about the running time in a minute, so if you feel inclined this Friday to go and watch the Ballad of Songbirds and Snake Plisskins, because that'll be a much better title, by the way, you will be warned. Slash film. For all the storylines, it juggles. I've got something else on my mind at the moment. Part love story, part franchise extension, and part treatise on how mind-numbingly awful group projects in a class can be. I did see a very interesting one here. Was it USA Today? Look at this. Imagine if The Phantom Menace was better than every episode of George Lucas's original Star Wars trilogy. Kind of bonkers to think about it, right? But that's pretty much the situation here with the Hunger Games. Now, that's a bit of a stupid comment because the point of a prequel is that it's a cash grab anyway, okay? Because if you've had a successful run of movies and you decide to make a prequel, it is a cash grab. There was a review that I saw here where they referred to it as simply a cash grab, and I completely agree with that. The Telegraph here says the Hunger Games prequel plunges us back into the futuristic empire of Panem. Should be Penis. The Guardian, the leftiest of the lefties. This was shocking 20. This movie finally ties itself into various knots to prefigure or pre-fatigue the later world of the Katniss that takes a piss. But the time to end the games came a long time ago. So even the Guardian is feeling fatigue from a franchise that's been rinsed and repeated, it seems, from the author Suzanne Collins, who decided to make a prequel in 2020, which I guess was lockdown time. And I will say this much, okay? When I first heard about this movie coming out, The Hunger Games, back in the day with Jennifer Lawrence, and I know Chris Gore said this on the recent live stream, but I already knew this. If you're a film fan, you would know this. Basically, Suzanne Collins looked at Battle Royale, superior Japanese movie, which, by the way, you could argue was influenced by Lord of the Flies. You take a bunch of unruly students from school, put them on a desert island, they've all got a weapon, they go and kill each other, the last man or woman standing is the victor, and they go back to a normal civilization and probably an endless bout of PTSD in the process. And I mentioned Battle Royale before, and by the way, The Hunger Games, this prequel, the Ballad of Songbirds and Shits, is 2 hours and 45 minutes, or for an easier translation, 15 minutes of adverts that you don't want to see and probably has ESG written all over them. That's going to be a 3-hour movie altogether, folks. Do you want to numb your bum for 3 hours?
No, it's a bum.
The only time I want to do that is at a Japanese massage parlor. But of course, look at Battle Royale. This is the Metacritic score. 1 hour and 54 minutes, 81%. Should have been a lot higher, but I guess some people don't understand the premise of why that film was the way it was. And actually, you could actually even argue as well that Battle Royale, along with there was a Canadian film about 7 people. I forgot what it was called, but it was like a reality show where they all had to kill each other as well. It's pretty damn good, actually. But let's have a quick look at this trailer again. I'm just going to take a quick snippet here at one of the biggest, cringiest scenes I've ever watched. And I may hurl up in front of the camera, folks, so beware. Holy shit. I mean, this girl's got some guns in her. I'm telling you. Well, actually, she doesn't. I'm just lying. I mean, I'm pretty sure they took cotton wool pads and shoved them down her bikini top. I mean, that is just not a representation of a woman I want to see. In fact, how you could have sold me on this is to get the lovely Alice Eve. Yes, the daughter of the other national treasure Eve, yeah, Trevor Eve, Eddie Shoestring, back in the day on BBC One as a private eye. And this is his gorgeous creation called Alice Eve. I mean, show me this. Yeah, Kim Cattrall, I know how you feel, love. Boob envy has never been better. Is she swallowing pills there? Holy shit. I mean, good grief, man. Can I just have Alice E running towards me and knocking me out like that poor barista in that final episode of the IT Crowd where he gets hit by a truck with big boobs on the front. Boob bumpers. That should become a legal thing in the UK. I would welcome that.
Little man, watch out!
But good God almighty, just imagine Alice Eve in that bikini that Rachel Zegler fails to fill. Have her in that role. Alice Eve is a based woman. She likes to celebrate her body and flaunting her figure. She needs to be celebrated. There needs to be an Alice Eve Day along with Juliana Morgan Day in the UK. Gosh, suckle those teeth forever. Why don't you, ladies and gentlemen? So if you enjoyed this video today, you can tell I've been on a bit of a mad one today, and I'm kind of glad I have been. Hello again, Miss Morgan. And I think this film might do well. I don't think people are coming out to see Rachel Zegler because she's already putting off folks. And again, something I failed to talk about with the previous Snow White shenanigans is that, yeah, they replaced the original diverse cast of dwarves with white dwarves, except they're all 7 feet tall now. So why are dwarves 7 feet tall when they're supposed to be dwarven, as in like that size, you know? I guess Disney doesn't want to offend the dwarven community out there.
You've got a problem with smaller people.
I don't have a problem with small people. Okay? I don't.
Which is stupid because by now making the dwarves really massive, you're still offending them anyway. So ladies and gentlemen, if you were me and if I were you, and if you want to stare at Alice Eve's beautiful boobs one more time, which I'm going to do right now, you better come back to click that like button, to smash that subscribe button for more videos like this, and to checking me out much later on.
Je ne regrette rien.
There you go. No.
Can I just ask you something? The next time you want the bell, just ask, I'll bring it over. Don't lean over the desk. Because